Catherine rather flatteringly said that somehow tutorials in the visual arts were unique. I make no such claim. However, the progress from classwork into full-blown plan work in the studio is somewhat different. And I thought I might just trace what a student coming out of classes heading into tutorials might experience in the studio. Their first tutorial, if it's with me, is likely to be one of low credits. Sometimes I call it a plan formation tutorial. It might be 1, it might be 2 credits. It's a shaping exercise. It might look at the area of art activity that student is interested in. What other artists are working in that territory? What resources are there to learn more about that kind of art? A bibliography building towards an eventual plan paper. A kind of self-description exercise that is both part of a conversation and also part of the studio habits that student is developing. After having that early low-credit plan organizing tutorial, the student might then move into a 3 or 4 credit tutorial in which their time might be divided between 2 things. The studio work that's necessary to push the development forward so that they'd be ready for a senior project. And also, since all visual arts students do a significant piece of writing as well, development of what that piece of writing is going to be, how they're going to frame that. Very often, visual arts students will work with a different faculty member for their writing. Very often, students are working in interdisciplinary ways, so that might not fall to me to work on writing, but sometimes it does. In that first 4-credit tutorial, it's usually a split of activities between visual work, discussions in the studio, and working towards an analysis of art, which will come in the senior year. And then senior tutorials are much more about the development of, once a final plan application is complete and the student can know how their percentages lay, 30% in preparations for an exhibit, 20% on a paper, 20% independent, perhaps 20% in another discipline. Is that 100? Probably not. Then the credits sometimes rise in the senior year. I'm in the habit of giving tutorials 2, 4, or 6 credits in that kind of progression. I rarely go above that. I think the idea that a tutorial can encompass more is relative to my sense of how much work is possible within one block of a semester. I think it's rare that I've allowed one for more than 6. That differs faculty member to faculty member, but and I think we share some of what Meg was describing as a group rather than as individuals. We have something called the Art Seminar Critique class where plan students are sharing each other's work and discussing them in very much like a seminar group tutorial situation. There's occasionally times when I'll do group tutorials that are topic-based. If there's a bunch of students who want to work in the wood shop, or if there's some who particularly want to work with carving or a medium